I'm going to tell you the 7 things that you need to know about light-bearing holsters. So with all the talk these days about whether you should have a light on your pistol or not, you might be considering, or maybe you already have, a weapon light on your pistol. But when it comes to holsters, there's a few nuances that you need to be aware of. At Werkz, we've been building light-bearing holsters since 2010, and we've become experts in this field. We know what works and what doesn't when it comes to light-bearing holsters, and we also know what some of the expectations you may have that may mismatch with some of the realities of light-bearing holsters. First, your weapon and light must exactly match what the holster manufacturer built that holster for. For instance, you might think all SIG Sauer P365s are the same, and the answer is no. First off, SIG Sauer originally released these with proprietary rails, which caused the lights to fit very differently. Then when they did release their X Macro, which has a rail, that drops where that light sits. In addition, there's a variety of companies out there that make grip modules, and those grip modules all place those lights at various heights. And you may wonder why that matters. Well, if your holster is built to accommodate just a certain channel of slide and light, it may bind up if you've got something that's too large, or if it's not large enough, it may flop around, and that can be unsafe. So know your exact pistol. In addition, you need to know the exact light you have. For instance, if you get a holster built for your Glock 19 with a PL Mini 2, that's not going to fit your Glock 19 with a Balder Mini. Another popular mistake is mistaking the TLR7A or X for the TLR7 sub. They are very different lights in terms of external shape. So if you've got an X Macro that is running a TLR7A, it's not going to fit in a holster built for the X Macro with the TLR7 sub 1913. At Werkz, we try to reduce some of this confusion by providing a detailed holster finder that has a huge list of pistols and lights down to the exact specifications, and that should help you find your exact right fitment. And if you're not able to find that, please let our customer service team know, and they will help you out. We actually have a person who answers the phone. Number 2, if you're used to non-light-bearing holsters, you're used to seeing that trigger guard completely covered in that holster material. That is not true with light-bearing holsters. There is always going to be some amount of gap around that trigger guard. It is up to you to make sure that you're comfortable with that gap, and it is up to you to make sure that you protect from foreign intrusion within that gap that could potentially activate the trigger. Now, the size of the gap, that's determined in large part by the size and shape of the weapon light you're running. For instance, the Surefire X300 leaves a larger gap around the trigger guard because that is a larger light. On the other hand, the SIG Sauer Foxtrot 2R, that leaves a smaller gap around the trigger guard because it's a smaller light and it actually tapers down on the bottom. Number 3, if you're using a light-bearing holster, you need to be using that holster with that pistol and that light that the holster is specified for. Most manufacturers, including Werkz, will tell you that you cannot run that pistol without a light safely in the holster built for the pistol with the light. Why is that? Well, that light not only provides the retention point for most holsters, but it also stabilizes the pistol within the holster. And if there's too much excess movement, that can be unsafe. In addition, if there's no retention, that is unsafe. You want your pistol and light to go into your holster, snap in, retain properly, and not have excess movement. Number 4, light-bearing holsters have a little more bulk, and that may require you to change your carry position slightly. For instance, a non-light-bearing holster may be narrower at the end, allowing me to carry in the appendix position, but scooch this over to my right-hand side a little bit more. But with this light there, I may have to move it to the left a little bit to provide clearance for the fold in my leg. So because you're carrying a little extra bulk, you may need to experiment a little bit more with carry positions to figure out what's more comfortable for you. Changing your carry position may be as simple as moving it over to the left a little bit, but you may also want to experiment with a little bit of ride height adjustment or even cant adjustment. Carrying in the appendix position sometimes can be more comfortable for somebody who dials in a little bit of negative cant. And to do all this, you want a holster with a variety of adjustment options that allow you to customize it to fit your needs. And that really is a lot of the design philosophy that we include with all of the Werkz holsters. And that leads me to number 5. You may wish to change your attachments to suit your needs as well, and that's where a holster that has a variety of attachment options is useful. So for instance, on my X Macro carry, I have the Werkz M6 holster here, and I attach these DCC Mod 4 clips. These are adjusted so that they carry that pistol a little bit lower in my pants, which I find a little bit more comfortable, and they can be adjusted independently up or down to suit my needs. No matter which holster you buy from Werkz, we have a variety of attachment options. And that brings me to number 6. Some people, myself included, find it more comfortable to carry in the appendix position when I have an appropriate attached mag carrier. This magazine carrier with the DCC clip allows the weight of the pistol in the magazine carrier to actually be dispersed across the front of my belt a little bit more, and it just feels like it provides a little bit more stability to my carry setup, making that more comfortable for me. And for you, you may find that carrying with an attached mag is actually more comfortable than carrying the pistol all by itself. So for those who've bared with me, this is number 7, and it's a little bit of a specialty item. If you're having a hard time finding a precision fit holster for a specific pistol, such as this Beretta APX, you may find that by attaching a popular weapon light such as this X300 or a TLR1HL, that companies such as Werkz may provide a precision fit holster that's built on fitting that light, but it's more of a universal or multi-fit holster. Werkz has the Outlier series, and that is really our way of saying, hey, it fits a number of those different pistols or outlier pistols. And it does so in a very precision fit way, but it allows for a variety of different pistols to fit with that single light. In addition, if you're somebody who likes to change up your pistol a lot, but you keep the light the same, this may allow you to run a variety of pistols in that exact same holster just by swapping the light around. As a result, if you're having a hard time finding a holster, maybe you want to look towards carrying one of the common large lights, and then find the Outlier holster or a similar holster from one of our competitors. So these are the most common things we think people need to know, but did I leave anything out? Please leave a comment and let other users know other things that are specific to light-bearing holsters. As always, if you're looking for light-bearing holsters or weapon lights, please check out werkz.com, use our holster finder, and see if we've got a solution for you. Thanks so much for watching, and have a blessed day.